it's Romy. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Sagittarius. This is your reading for February 2020. So if you're Sagittarius Sun, Rising or Moon, it may well resonate for you. If you're enjoying it and you'd like to support my work, you can find a link for the extended reading in the description box below. You can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram, or come check me out at my website romywyser.com to see all of the services and readings that I offer. And you can also join my monthly membership group, which is via Patreon. Okay, let's go ahead and see what's coming out in February for you. Hey Sagittarius, okay, we are opening your reading with two cards. The first is your guide card for the month ahead. From the major arcana, it's the Lady, or the card of the Empress. The second is your gift card for February, which is Flow. So I'm working with the guide and the gift in 2020 readings, The Soul Journey and Journey to Love. You can find more details on my website. But in the context of what's coming up for you, I really love the energies that these are presenting for you, because I honestly feel like as you move into this month, you're in quite a good place with yourself. I think there's been a tremendous amount of reevaluation, and you have accepted so much of what has been shown back to you in terms of the adjustments that you need to make in order to bring more balance and harmony into your world. And I think that the Empress is really highlighting to me that you're just in quite a chilled place, and you're allowing things to start to flow towards you. And perhaps for some of you, for the first time ever, you're really understanding the concept of not having to force, not having to push, not having to demand. And actually, you know, once we're in that beautiful sweet spot of that receptive mode, we can start to see the advancement, the growth and the bounty kind of coming towards us. So there's some really beautiful alignments, particularly for you Sagittarius, through the month of February, and it'll be interesting to see what comes in your cards. But you know, just even coming into this reading, I feel quite optimistic for you about how things are set to unfold. So this beautiful gift card of Flow, for me, indicating that there isn't anything that you need to force, right? This is absolutely a month that we are resetting, but for you, it's resetting from a completely different vantage point. We are going to have Mercury retrograde coming through this month. It's in Pisces for most of the transit from the 17th through to the 4th, and then it dips into Aquarius from the 4th to the 9th. Remember, we'll have shadow though right from the start of the month. So it's working in your 4th house, helping you to feel more stable, more secure, more homely, building stronger foundations, and maybe giving you the chance to revisit and review how far you've come or what you still need to do in order to harmonize your world in that way, right? Aquarius season, 3rd house for you. So again, how you're expressing your energy, and what I'm seeing so far is that you're coming from this place of chill, and I really like that. Both of these cards for me are really drawing into the full moon, you know, that point of fruition, coming to that beautiful moment in the cycle. And the full moon is in Leo on the 9th of February. It has a beautiful aspect trining Mars, and this fire moon, I think, is going to be really supportive of you. It activates your 9th house, and it's helping you to just come out with a new worldview, a new vision. It's showing you how much you've accomplished, and allowing some release of maybe energies that have been activated during that eclipse season. And I think there's definitely still a clearing out happening. A lot of water energy in both of these cards, so there's still some emotional stuff that we're working through, but I feel like you're giving yourself time to do that in a way that feels balanced to you, and I think that's really important. It's going to serve you well. On the 7th, Venus moves into Aries, which is your 5th house of passion, romance, creativity. And that's the other thing. I think you're set to have an incredibly creative month, starting to see new solutions, real inspiration coming forward. Strength card linking into the sign of Leo, and again, that full moon. So I think you're going to find some really beautiful energies coming in for you around that moment. Of course, 5th house really activating, you know, your desire to want to look at the romantic areas of your life, you know, both from a partnership, relationship perspective, but also the things that you feel really drawn towards, what is inspiring you, where the passion is flowing, because I think you understand that to really start to work with that law of attraction and bring in the kind of abundance that you're looking for, you have to be very clear and focused about what really matters. And you know, retrograde can allow us to sort of dip into that kind of more dreamy, hazy like energy, particularly Mercury in Pisces. It's asking us to go into that deeper emotional landscape that we have. Strength card, I think, is really indicating for me what it's taken and how much pride you should have for the journey that you've just been through, how you've navigated your way through, because you've allowed the flow to happen. I think, you know, you've been challenged enormously, but you're starting to come out of this. There is a lightness that I feel coming through in your month of February. I think you're going to feel really different. I really do, Sagittarius, and I think perhaps not in ways that you maybe expected to feel different. I think life is starting to change for you. You're starting to see possibilities where perhaps there were dead ends before. You're looking at your value, and you're really waiting to start to see the physical evidence of how people are recognizing your value in a different way. And I think you're set to see that coming in quite powerfully through the month of February. So be prepared to respond to that differently as well, Sagittarius. That's going to be important when people start to see you elevated in terms of your worth, your energy. Then you have to step into that new version and not default back into the old way of being. On the 16th, Mars is moving into Capricorn. Again, that second house, you've been working with this, with all of these outer planets. But it is helping you to really step up. I love this, very visionary energy. You looking forward, deciding what comes next for you, and being very committed to it. I think that's the other thing that comes in for me. I do see you being in a state of flow, but also not, you know, there's like a really powerful boundary. You have quite a nurturing energy this month, and I do expect that people are going to be very drawn towards you with that Empress guide card coming in. People are going to want to understand how you've navigated these changes, how you've managed to, you know, come to the point that you're at, and perhaps they're still struggling or still trying to find their feet a little bit. I do think you have the opportunity to help support, but I do have this sense of some firm boundaries being put in place, and perhaps you may be even turning your back on one or two people that you understand it's just not healthy for you to be around anymore. Yeah. If you are dealing with the Leo energy, I do see that there is a lot of communication coming up through this month. And Spirit are also saying it's important to go with the flow. You don't necessarily have to be the one that's putting your thoughts and feelings forward first. I kind of feel like wait to see what they have to say. So I do feel for some of you in this retrograde, you are going to have somebody coming back around to want to speak to you. This could either be on a personal or professional basis, but I feel like they want your advice, they want your perspective, they want your insight. You're kind of focused towards your future right now, and I think that's exactly what you should be doing. So, you know, you can be available, but not to the point of where it's gonna redirect your energies and your focus away from what matters. I love the full energy coming in for you. I do have this sense of brightness in the month of February that you are being afforded, and I want you to step fully into it, even if things still are kind of, the dust is settling, so to speak. So you might not really be kind of acknowledging that that shift has taken place yet, saying, Romy, okay, it all sounds great, but actually I'm still like, you know, knee deep in the shit, so to speak. So if that is your experience at the moment, remember, you know, you're moving with this adjustment, and it takes time to recalibrate and to actually kind of see with fresh eyes. But I absolutely am being shown that what's coming up and the pathway that's starting to open up for you is feeling really exciting. And I think that you're going to return to that sense of feeling more hopeful and optimistic about the way forward. I will say that I do think for many of you it's not going to be in the direction or in the way that you expected it to be, but that can be a really good thing, because it again, it challenges us and it shows us, you know, perhaps other parts of ourselves that we weren't aware needed to be explored, or potential that hadn't been tapped into, you know. And sometimes different energies, different connections can bring out really different sides of us, and I think you're also really ready for that. Page of Swords energy coming through, because I think there is this sense of curiosity and openness to new ideas and new ways of communicating. This is really important, because if people are going to start to see your value, Sagittarius, if they're going to start to look at you with a completely new understanding of what you're capable of, seeing you in that higher role, seeing you as the potential long-term partner, seeing you as the person that can really be counted on, seeing you as the individual they want to invest in, then it's up to you to have to present yourself in a way that people really understand that. So you need to be clear in your acknowledgement of how you've changed, who you are, and be really unapologetic about putting that forward. You know, that card of the Empress is giving you the confidence to just say, like, I'm completely at ease with who I am and what I have to offer. I know I can bring things to creation. I know I've got that creative manifesting energy and potential. I don't need you to validate me, but I do need you to acknowledge my presence, my energy, my worth in this instance. But you're coming at it not from like an egotistical place. For me, this is like real gentle flow, kind of real humility. And I think that that's going to surprise a lot of people, but in a really positive way. And you're leading by example with that. You know, there are going to be people that are looking towards you to say, okay, how have they bounced back? How have they found that level of resilience based on, you know, what all of us have been through in terms of the collective shifts of late. And again, it's time to be able to be open and honest about that, to communicate your truth, to say it how it is. If you have an air sign around you, could be Gemini, Aquarius or Libra. Again, I feel like, you know, they're wanting your time, they're wanting your attention. Maybe you're going to be quite direct and forthright with them. There is a need for some sort of clarity to come through. Not always the easiest when we're in retrograde, but I think you're in a place where you feel quite aligned, Sagittarius. So I actually feel that you're going to find it more easy, perhaps in some of the other signs in February, to kind of cut through some of that haze and confusion to actually deliver the news that needs to be given. I think that if you are, from a relationship perspective, wanting to see how things are panning out, I see some very honest, direct conversations. I see you being quite clear about not wanting to compromise to the extent that it's going to damage any of the hard work that you've put in terms of your own journey to self-discovery. I see you creating a new set of ground rules. I see you being quite determined about that. I see you still perhaps a little bit undecided on whether this dynamic relationship connection is right for you. I think for others, you're seeking to have more independence within a partnership. You're wanting to find your feet. You're wanting to figure out who you are now in this new time and space, and perhaps you need a little bit of kind of space to be, you know, so that you can kind of work through that. So I have you standing quite strong and quite firm and not really wanting to take anyone's stuff on too heavily this month. Ace of Swords bringing in this beautiful new burst of energy as well, that's very it's like this direct arrow, you know, that kind of is going to point you directly towards where you want to go, which I really love. And what is that about? Just what we've said, this sense of self-reliance and self-sufficiency, of independence. This doesn't mean that, you know, the all of you want to like leave your partners and not be with somebody, you know, or have your business on your own, or kind of like strike out. I think for some of you that might be the case. More than that, I just feel like it's about you finding connections and relationships, you know, personally and professionally, that allow you that, afford you that kind of opportunity to just be yourself and to kind of live your life in the way that you want to, without apology, without having to acquiesce or bend to people so much that you lose yourself. Because I think some of you have really gone through that tough cycle, that tough lesson where you've had to discover again who you are, and perhaps bumped up against all the times when you really gave your power away and were very disempowered. But here we've got the Empress, we've got 9 of Pentacles coming through to say you're now regaining that. You're now stepping into a very powerful time, Sagittarius, for you. And that means that you have to stand strong in terms of what it is that you want. So I think you're laying out that vision to anybody who wants a piece of you, or who wants to be around you, or who wants to be involved in your life. And so there's absolute humility and an openness, like it's like the door is open, you want to come talk to me, I'm here. but you know, this is the way things are for me now, and I need you to honor that and respect that. And I think if people are able to do that, then you can have some really meaningful discussions moving forward that can potentially be really positive and showcase a much cleaner, healthier path forward, either personally or professionally. I think if people are too heavy on wanting to bring all their drama to your door, you're just going to move your focus away. I don't see you being particularly harsh or you know, having to kind of you know, be particularly difficult or awkward, but I just through your energy see you redirecting into things that are more meaningful. But you do, I feel like you do want to connect, you want to collaborate, you're looking for those individuals who have also been through their own journey and have awakened and are ready to embrace themselves, to take responsibility for who they are and what energy they're bringing to the table, like you. And that what comes out of that is a sense of you being able to begin something new that feels really juicy, it feels vibrant, it feels exciting. A lot of ideas flowing in this month of February for you. Retrograde is wonderful for you to tap into that intuitive part of you and allow some of those more out there visionary ideas to come in. Remember, the full moon in Leo's in your 9th house. I think that's going to be a really poignant time for many of you to start to tap into where spirit are guiding you and to really see yourself in the place that they see you, you know. So you're going to be given that little bit of boldness to strike out, to step out, to kind of declare, if you like, this is who I am, this is the direction I'm moving, this is what I want for myself. So I see you kind of working with that lovely kind of daydream energy of retrogrades and allowing it to advance you. This is very much a month of personal advancement and the implementation of so much of what you've learned, but coming from a energy place first of all as we move into the springtime. Then there's a powerful kind of action time coming in. 5 of Swords energy is coming through because I feel that this is about somebody else who feels that you've turned away or you're moving on or you're not the person that you once were. And you know what? Good, because I feel like what we're moving into for you is way more positive. So if they are not prepared to accept that, if they don't want to see you in this new energy, really it's their problem. And I think that, you know, there could be a few individuals that are in and around the periphery of your life in some capacity that kind of don't know how to reach you anymore. You know, the communication will literally be scrambled through that retrograde. They'll just be unable to kind of connect with you because you just have elevated, you know, your energy is changing, and it's important that they take that as a sign to kind of do their own inner work. This isn't about you having to carry anybody through this month of February. I do think that there are, you know, 1 or 2, I'm going to call them like bumps in the road that you'll come up against through this month of February that, if you're not careful, could drag you back into some old ways of thinking. You know, we love retrograde energy for that. But actually I see you deep in this kind of contemplation of curating this new life for yourself. So even if you bump up against some triggers, you know, some people arrive on the scene, or, you know, you find yourself moving back into an old pattern, I do think that you're going to have the strength and the sort of the guidance to be able to lift yourself out of that. I do think for some reason I pick up that some of the things that you have to say this month of February, Sagittarius, are not going to be taken in the right way or understood. It's not your problem, is what I want to say. So first and foremost, as long as you feel really clear about what you're communicating, whether it, you know, is about setting a new boundary or just being really honest with somebody, you know, or speaking your truth about what's changed or what is no longer working for you. If they take it in a way that isn't really what you intended, it's not really your. There's nothing that you can do to solve that. I do see you perhaps having some kind of stress around like trying to justify or trying to skirt back around, and I'm going to say don't do that, because it's just going to get messy, and that's the thing that's more likely to kind of drag you back into like an old dynamic. This is about you showing yourself firstly, but then other people, the ways in which you have changed. Two of Wands is coming in to say to me, first of all, we have a whole new set of priorities coming in. You're planning for the future now. And like I said, you know, I'm sure for some of you there are certain individuals, certain connections, relationships that you really want to be a part of that future. But they also have to understand where you're at right now and what's going on for you. And, you know, each of us have got our own very unique individual soul journey, and none of us are coming up against the same kind of obstacles or challenges or revelations or understanding. So as a collective, we're all moving forward, but all seeing it from a very different perspective. So I think there's the acknowledgement of that from you, but perhaps you might come into some contact with others that are trying to get you to see it their way. So I do see a little bit of jostling. There's a little bit of kind of power play that might be coming through. I also want to say to you, there's something coming in really at the start of April that's feeling very exciting in terms of what's happening on a professional, work or career path for you. Okay, so some of the ideas that are coming up through this month of February, I want you to make sure that you are really listening to, really thinking through, going with the flow, understanding the timing might not be quite right to implement, but they are absolutely being put in front of you for a reason, because as we come into that springtime, particularly in and around that first week of April, something really bold and beautiful is being shown to me in terms of an opening up or a launching or a setting out of a new vision that feels really exciting. Oh, lovely. You've got the card of shift coming through for your oracle. I think this is exactly, you know, what we've been talking about. You can see she's naked here, so there is this sense of vulnerability that I think you're still dealing with, Sagittarius, and that's okay. You know, it's all right to feel that I'm still not quite sure I kind of fit these shoes yet. I'm not quite sure that this person that I think I've become and that I've evolved into, you know, I can kind of step into that role, that I can see myself in that way. But I think that the guides are working with you powerfully through February to make sure that you do. Just remember, with that shift that takes place, it's up to you then to look at all of the aspects of your life and see how everything needs to shift forward with you. You know, that's important. It's come up for quite a few of the signs because of the changes that have taken place, so that if you are honouring the growth that has happened for you on an individual level, you can't then allow a relationship to continue with the same energy dynamic. It has to move forward as well. And of course that becomes complex, because then you're dealing with other people and their energy. You know, if it's just all about what you can control in your life, then it's easy, right? But with your guide card of the Empress, and again, this gift of flow is just helping you to perhaps be a little bit more fluid in the way that things are shifting without losing that sense of boundary and that sense of alignment, okay? Beautiful card to come in though. Okay, your moon card, your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn, beautiful. What was taking place in that new moon in 2019, which came in Christmas Day, Boxing Day? What were the themes that were around that point for you? Because I feel just as we're into February and we're in that retrograde, you're getting a little bit of an echo back to show you even some of the thoughts and ideas that came up in that new moon. And then let's also link right forward to the end of 2020. Certainly the adjustments and the shifts that are taking place now, the new paths that are starting to open up, the independence that you're gaining in terms of your thinking is really providing this beautiful new platform for success. Remember, as we move through Aquarius and Pisces in your third and fourth house, this is about you communicating, expressing yourself differently to build a solid new foundation and start to feel more supported, you know, within yourself, but also with the people that feel like family around you, you know. And I think that is going to result in some changes for some of you in around work and career and what you want to do professionally as you seek to find things that light up your heart space in a more positive way. I really like the energies that are coming through for you, Sagittarius. I think you're set to have some beautiful moments of validation about the changes that have taken place for you. Just be prepared that, you know, not everyone is perhaps advanced at the same pace or is quite ready to receive this new you. So if you bump up against those kind of energies through this month, then, you know, make sure you're just taking a beat and thinking about the way that you're going to respond emotionally so that you don't send yourself backwards. But even then, if you do, you know, retrograde is perfect for that because it gives us time to reset again, doesn't it? It gives us almost like a second chance to kind of get it right again. Okay, Sagittarius, if you'd like to join me for the extended reading, we're going to go ahead and continue this conversation, see what else comes through. So I'm just going to pick us some cards right now. You can join me for the extended. There's a link in the description box below, 4 of Cups, and it's just a way to support my channel and the work that I do for you each month. Thank you. Lover's card coming in. I think some of you are going to feel that kind of beautiful, romantic, sensual, passionate energy coming in February. King of Swords coming through with the 3 of Wands. Could be a Gemini that you've got in the mix here. 9 of Pentacles coming up again. Really like this for you. Knight of Wands. Your card with the Fool. Yeah, beautiful. Just the essence and embodiment of having this sort of lightness coming in, this sense of freedom, ready to explore, ready to be curious. 7 of Wands. Beautiful. Ace of Pentacles, yes. 10 of Swords with the Ace of Swords. I think it is about the completion of a cycle happening here, you know. 9 of Swords. Okay, a little bit of anxious energy coming up in the center of the reading. We'll dive a bit deeper to see where that is being illuminated. Yeah, the moon in your reading. Okay, 4 of Swords coming up with 9 of Pentacles. For me, that's firmly a message about the inner work that you've done, creating the external manifestation of security and stability. Page of Wands, lovely. Getting a lot of beautiful fire energy in your reading, Sagittarius. Really love that for you. The Star coming in with the 5 of Swords. That's interesting. I think, you know, when I talked about this 5 of Swords being someone else's disappointment, and I think it's the expectation that they had about the situation and how they saw it, and perhaps that was, you know, a little bit verging on the realms of fantasy, and it was never going to happen, so they're about to have that kind of crashing realization. King of Pentacles, okay. 2 of Wands bringing in the 8 of Wands. For me, this is about you, all the direction of your energy, where it's going and how quickly it's going to start to take you there. You've got Strength card again. Okay, maybe there is a Leo that's important this month. Emperor coming through with the Shift. Taking back control. Feeling more powerful. And 8 of Cups with the hard work is paying off. Okay, Sagittarius, thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful month ahead. If you're joining me, I can't wait to continue this conversation. And otherwise, if you've enjoyed the reading, please drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the notification for future readings. All the best. Bye for now.